understanding that the fraud case is an active investigation.
Thank you for your testimony. We'll turn to questions now. And I have one for Mr. O'Carroll. The New York case is the latest of 3 disability fraud cases in less than 2 years. Can the American people expect more like this? Yes or no?
Chairman Johnson, we've got a number of investigations going on now involving.
The question I ask is, can we expect more like this to surface? Yes or no?
Probably.
Okay. You're refusing to give me a yes or no.
If you want a yes on it, yes. We have other investigations of magnitude.
Thank you. Ms. Colvin, has anyone at your agency been held accountable for fraud conspiracy in West Virginia, Puerto Rico, or New York cases?
All of those cases are still open and active.
You didn't answer my question either. Are you holding anybody in your agency accountable, yes or no?
I think that my answer has to be that those are still open cases. We can certainly.
So the answer is no. Has anyone been fired or disciplined for these fraud schemes?
There have been significant organizational changes in our West Virginia office, but as I said before, those.
Well, you got West Virginia, Puerto Rico, and New York now. Are you taking care of those areas as well?
I think we need to let the investigation continue.
You're not making any changes in the administration. Is that true or false?
We're not making any changes in the administration at all. There's no suggestion in my understanding that we need to do that at this time. I would prefer to see the investigation concluded, and we'll make our decisions.
Well, you know, it's been a long time coming. Those investigations have been going on for many years. It's not just something brand new.
We make the referral, Mr. Chairman. We don't determine the fraud or do the investigation. We simply make the referrals, and we make considerable referrals each year.
Yeah, but you're running the agency right now. And you note on page 2 of your testimony, quote, the continued success, unquote, of the fraud detection and referral process you call success, 3 scandals in 2 years, with the last 2 within 6 months of the same region?
Yes, I would call it success because I think that our anti-fraud activities have been very successful. Remember that it was our staff who uncovered those cases, and it was the Inspector General who was able to note patterns in those individual referrals that suggested conspiracy. I still contend that the first line of defense are our well-trained employees, the DDS as well as the field office. They are trained to identify potential fraud, and they are doing just that. Clearly, the reduction in the number of staff we have to watch what's happening and be alert to potential fraud is a concern for us because the numbers have substantially decreased.
Well, it seems like it took an awful long time to uncover this last one. On page 2, you state you will move to recover any overpayments from the New York fraudsters. You call these overpayments, but aren't they illegal payments? Yes or no?
I'm sorry, you saw
the payments you made to those people in New York during all this, you call them overpayments. Weren't they illegal payments?
Chairman, as in Puerto Rico, we can't make that determination now. I am actually waiting to get a release from the Manhattan District Attorney to start the re-review on the cases. As a result of the re-review, we'll be able to make that determination. As I told you in Puerto Rico, in some of the cases that were involved, there's other medical evidence and other disabilities. So yes, we will be taking the same process as Puerto Rico, but right now you have the indictments, and we have not been able to do that re-review of the cases.
But it's been going on for years. It seems to me you should have been more aware of it. Mr. O'Carroll, according to your testimony, the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York ultimately declined to pursue the case. Thankfully, Manhattan's district attorney agreed to take it. Why aren't federal prosecutors going after these crime rings?
Well, Chairman Johnson, we've taken a review of presentations on our investigations to U.S. Attorney's Office. And I'd say more than half of the time that we present to them, they do accept. Many times, the U.S. Attorney's offices have thresholds for the amount of fraud that's involved before they'll authorize on a prosecution. And oftentimes with our cases, especially in the infancy of a case, it isn't that much in terms of the dollar amount to attract the prosecution of it. And also, too, is that with a lot of these things, it's cooperation in terms of if we're using undercover agents or using other agencies to help us on an investigation, we'll then have somewhat of an obligation to stay with the organization. In this case here, it was a partnership with the District Attorney's Office. They were working in one direction. We were working in another. We partnered, and we came up with a result. And we did keep the Southern District of New York informed on it as we went along.
Well, I appreciate that, and I thank you all for helping us in those instances. Why don't federal prosecutors want to go after these kind of crime rings?
Well, in terms of it's a long, involved, complex investigation. It'd be the example of these. And the small ones, they're not interested in usually on it. What they'll do is if we can package them together and make a presentation with a half a dozen or a dozen of the investigations, they'll go. But oftentimes when I guess they're making a determination on, charging some with bank robbery or a disability fraud, it goes in, they have their priorities. But I must also tell you, Chairman Johnson, I go out personally and interview or meet with U.S. attorneys across the country, discuss with them investigations that we have, explain to them the advantage of the deterrent factor of doing it. And oftentimes it's just by talking to them we end up with prosecutions. So I'm personally out there talking to U.S. attorneys trying to get our prosecutions.
Well, thank you for that. I think if we don't go after these crime rings, the federal prosecutors are sending a message to professional crooks and phony disabled that committing fraud pays off. Thank you for your testimony. I think we need to change that. Mr. Becerra, you have